Hey, Havoc, this is 1. We need close air support.
Roger 1, calling in now. Bravo 4, Kilo 68 is at your 6, and I'm sighting out on your north slope now.
Hey team, it's Daniel again with Brazos Valley Boars and Varmits. So I have been using my drone to find and hunt hogs since it's become legal a little over half a year ago. And one of my goals has been to figure out how to take a thing that is commonly a toy for most people and turn it into an actual tool. And we've had lots of different successes along the way, trying to learn what it takes to actually achieve that goal. And this is a typical example of a failure that we commonly have, is that this is a sounder of pigs that we found. And as soon as we found them, they ran off into the woods and there was no getting them back. These pigs just kept going further and further into the woods. I am not going to be able to push them back because of the trees. I'm not going to be able to get down in there with them to try to drive them back to me. This is just not going to happen. So the landowner is happy that these pigs have left his property. However, at the same time, we all know that in this war on pigs, we're trying to eradicate rather than run off. So this is a typical failure that we see quite often. However, this is a cornfield. And guys, these row crop properties have been places where we've gotten lots of success down here in the Brazos Valley. And I think it's easy to see why. We can look from the drone and find exactly where they are and be able to make a game plan on how to best approach this situation. And we can usually execute it very well. I do have some things that we're learning about doing this included in this hunt because this is a busy night for us. And we've got a lot of different people that we're trying to manage as well. And we're looking at the drone controller, trying to come up with a game plan. And you can see the pigs are just right there in the middle of the screen. They're the white blobs that are in these rows of the corn. And you can also see that scattered throughout the rest of this field, there's a bunch of bare spots. Guys, that's where these pigs have been knocking down these stalks of corn night after night after night. And they've just been doing so much damage, eating this farmer's crop, basically just stealing money right out of his wallet. So we're going to try to help out. Now, also in this video, you're going to see a lot of fast forwarding. That's just because I want to show you how this played out. However, at the same time, get through this fairly quickly. So we're all set up. We've got everybody in place, how we want them. We've got different people looking down different rows of corn. So that way each one has got their own individual target, which is great because now nobody is going to be picking the exact same one. And so here's where they open up on them. And as the pigs disperse, this is whenever I decide to go on ahead and fly the drone over into the field and back around on the other side. So that way I can get a completely different angle of what happened and what is still going on. And what I'm seeing is that there are still a lot of interesting hot spots right here in front of us. Now, some of these are going to be where pigs were laying down and their body heat is still there on the ground. But like you can see over here, there are 3 shoats that have not gone away. And so I guide the rest of the team in to show them exactly what row of corn they're down. And bam, we take a shot on one of them right here. That one goes down. One of them goes off to the left side of my screen. And then the other one is just kind of hanging out one row over. So I told the guys, hey guys, move over 1 row and take another shot. Get this second one down. And so they do that right here, but they miss. And so this hog goes off to the side. But it doesn't take off running horribly fast. Again, this is 4x sped up. And so as it just progressively moves further and further, I just guide the rest of the team in, say, go further down, until right there, we get another shot on it. And that one puts it down in place. Perfect. So Let's send the drone up a little bit higher, and you can see there's a dead hog off to the right of our screen. Let's go try to find some more, either that we can recover or that we can keep getting good kills for this farmer. And eventually on the edge of that field, we find this sounder that has recollected over here. But before we are able to get an amazing assault on these ones again, these pigs run off into these trees where we have access, but that is so thick, there is not going to be any way we're going to find these ones. So those ones get off for tonight. But since the drone was there anyways, we picked up a solo boar over here on that same edge of the field, so you can see us making our way along. And as we get out and we look at this thing, we notice that we can't see it at all because the rows of corn are working against us, and the only one that can actually see it is the drone itself. And so after some back and forth of trying to figure out what we want to do about this, and realizing that my battery is getting pretty low here, what we eventually decide to do is just send one of the guys off in this field with a pistol under his night vision mounted on his helmet. Now, one thing that's going to come into play is that this drone has a temperature sensor and it has a laser rangefinder built into it. And so both of those are lasers, and I'm trying to laze this pig as a marker for this guy that's running night vision. However, at the same time, this isn't the same kind of laser that was made for viewing under night vision. And so he can kind of see it, but also the fact that the corn is way taller than he is not working in his favor at all. And because I'm moving the drone around, trying to get good footage and trying to keep up with the pig, he gets a little bit confused about exactly where he's supposed to be going, and I'm trying to holler at him, but he can't hear me because of the drone. But in the meantime, he walks past the pig, then comes back to it, and then scares it off into the great yonder. But again, my batteries are dying, so we got to bring that thing back home. So here's the last sounder for the night, and we are trying to figure out how we want to best approach this group, because this sounder is way off in the middle of this cornfield where they are hard to get to from all directions, basically. And so we eventually decide we're just going to go in there and go after them and try to find an open pocket. But what we realize is that this is actually pretty much a mud fest through here. So we decided that we're going to go ahead and back on out of this spot that we're in here. And then we're going to take the drone and fly it around over to the edge of where they are and try to push them over towards us. Now, one thing that you're going to notice with this group of pigs is that they split off into two different groups, but I'm going to focus the first one that's going to come off to the right side. Those are going to be the primary targets at the very beginning. Now, the great thing about trying to push pigs over a cornfield is that unlike trees, you can get real low and just right on top of them and push them with that actual rotor wash and kind of get them to go where you want them to go. In trees, like the very beginning of this video, you're so high up in the air, you can't do that. But here you can see how I push towards them and then pull back, sending the rotors at the pigs. And once they cross this opening, we get several shots on them. It looks like we didn't hit any of them. None of them went down right there. But when we went back and looked at the footage later, there were several that we found that were down, about 4 or 5. So we got a lot of good kills here. But then instead of trying to spend our battery life on doing recoveries, what we decide to do is go after this next sounder that's over here, which is actually the same sounder, but the group that broke off to the left. And so I'm running pretty low on battery life here. And so we decided, guys, we need to get over to that corner. And then I'm going to try that same tactic of being able to get just above the heads of this corn and push them with the rotor wash. So you'll see me be near and then like go forward and back off. So that way I push them with the wash. And at this point, I'm calling to the guys that they are 30 yards, 20 yards, 10 yards, 5 yards, 1 yard, and they start shooting, and we get several more down here and a couple more down in the field over there. But like I said, my batteries are dying. So guys, I got to bring this drone in, and then we'll catch up all these pigs here in a little bit. So guys, what I am learning is that in the open ranches, these pigs hear the drone and they run to cover, which is usually going to involve a lot of trees. However, in the trees, I cannot push pigs nearly as successful. And so usually with those places, what we have to do is something else, like try to call those pigs out of those trees or just go in after them if we don't have a whole bunch of underbrush like Yopon or something else that would be blocking our way. Now, in the cornfields, these hogs feel like they have cover everywhere that they are. So they are easy to see and easy to push because I can get that rotor wash involved and get them moved right where I want them to go. So that has been a really nice benefit when trying to help out these local farmers who are just trying to make a living out here growing corn for the whole country. Also, you can see that using the drone works really well for recoveries, and I can just guide the guys right in, telling them right where that pig is, so that way we can pull them out, so that way this farmer does not find this pig with a combine or any other piece of equipment. But if we are going to be sending the guys in after a live pig, because that drone does make so much noise, we probably need to send them in with some alternative way of being able to hear us so we can guide them in right where they need to be. So we'll probably be working on that in the future. But guys, I hope that y'all enjoy this. I hope that this is something that's been helpful to y'all. And like always, love you. Take care. Bye.